Check, check, check. Okay. I know you guys might be confused. I am not Tori after a weird operation or anything. Tori has, she's very greedy. She has a stomach flu and she did not want to share it with you guys. So, sorry, I can't help you out. So I'm going to be filling in for her. She'll be back next week. She said to say hello to you guys and apologize for her absence. So the Celebrate game. This is the easiest thing you can do that will have the most impact on your dog. So make sure that you celebrate at home. I have people all the time like, so I got to pet my dog every time it sits or lays down. I'm like, how many times do you teach your kid to say please or thank you? Think about it that way. It's thousands. My parents are still trying to get me to say please or thank you. So just like anything else, it really takes, well, for us and dogs, we actually have the same behavior pattern. Anybody has anybody in the room of medical person? We have the myelin sheath develops of our neural pathways at 66 days. And so that helps our neurons travel faster kind of. And so the more a dog does something, the more they are likely to do it, whether it is a desired behavior, like sitting to ask for attention, or barking and jumping up on you to ask for attention. You get to decide. But it means that you have to recognize and reward your dog when it does offer those things. So make sure you just keep that in your back of your mind. The idea is every time you see your puppy, it comes to you or does it, yes, and pet. All right, did anybody have a play date this last week? Yo, I love all the hands up. How did it go? Oh, how did it go? How long was it? Oh, wow. Usually we recommend 5 minutes per month they are aged. So yeah, now when we have puppies, we look at all this crazy energy. You're like, get it all out, get it all out. But a lot of times when they get overly tired, that's when they're more likely to make mistakes, just like us. And the end of any exercise or any activity is the most important period of time. That's the brightest memory engram they're going to have. So you always want to end on a high note, kind of like George Costanza. You get a laugh and just drop the mic and walk out of the room. So for your dogs, I would recommend trying to keep them shorter. You guys lucked out, but we've had a lot of people, puppy parents who've done that. And then at the very end, they get tired, one of them nips the other one, and then they come into class and they're looking for a fight. And so I just don't want you guys to experience that. Good thing that it didn't, but just try to keep it about 5 minutes per month they are aged. You guys have one? No, okay. Hey, that's awesome. That's important. We recommend meeting 5 puppies or dogs a week. So as long as they're good, positive encounters, went well? Yeah. Excellent.
One of them is not really fond of a dog.
Well, okay. Sometimes we have to prepare our dogs for the life that they're going to live, and unfortunately, not every dog likes every other dog, so that's not a bad experience.
And we have an older dog, and that's been a challenge. He's 10.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, it's like Rachel behind me. I forgot to introduce her. This is Rachel. Rachel is joining us now. She's from the Nebraska Humane Society's Behavior Department. She left the NHS. Unfortunately, they're making some behavior department decisions that a lot of staff don't like, and so we're fortunate to have somebody as talented and amazing as Rachel joining us. But a lot of those problems come from dogs that are under-socialized, so that's one of the reasons we hammer away. Are you guys in the puppy class parents page?
No.
Join that. You are the only puppy class in town that has access to that. Our recommendation meeting really the first year of your puppy's life, one puppy play date per week. And so the problem is, people are fooled by their puppies. They think, oh, my puppy's open, doesn't need it. This is not your puppy's actual personality. So you'll see it when they hit about 5 months. And if you don't take advantage of this open period, that's when you have to hire somebody like Rachel or me to come to your house. And there's no guarantee we can fix it later. Sometimes we can just show you management techniques. It's expensive. It's not much fun. Setting up play dates is pretty awesome, pretty fun. So try to join that group. I know if you're not on, are you not on Facebook? Just join Facebook, make your puppy picture and your puppy name. Don't put your last name. Don't tell anybody it's you. There's no political talk. It's just cute puppy pictures and videos of play dates. And our goal is that hopefully that you guys find a couple people that live in a mile or two. So you guys go on vacation. Maybe your Emmy goes and spends the night with them and vice versa. So it really becomes a resource. Yeah. Would you concur that's a good decision? So, and we've had a lot of people the same way that just hate social media or just hate Facebook because it's so divisive. But if you just set up this way, we had a woman, she was just like, I thought Facebook was so nice because I've just been in your group. And then she goes, then I went on the actual Facebook. She goes, man, people are angry. And I'm like, just don't go there. Just go to the puppy class parents page. So keep on saying those play. Did you guys get a chance to take any pictures and videos and post those? Awesome. I'm going to go look for those when I get home tonight. And you guys had one as well?
Yeah, we did.
How did it go?
It went well. It was with a neighbor dog that's like 3.
Okay.
Like 20, 25 minutes.
Perfect. So we do recommend puppies within about 1 month of our puppy's age. The reason for it is your puppies give off a pheromone. Adult dogs will smell the pheromone, won't correct Kirk when he's doing inappropriate things. The problem is that Kirk practices playing inappropriately. When the pheromone wears off, we see a lot of dogs that start getting harshly corrected or almost attacked. And so we really want you to take advantage. It's kind of the analogy I used when I was a little kid. If I was a jerk to my parents, they're legally required to still love me. But if I go to school and do that with my friends, they will cut me down. They're going to bring me back to their, because we're peers. So it's the same sort of principle. So, but that's awesome that you had a play date. One play date with an adult dog is much better than no play dates, but try to set those up because it really makes a difference. We see a distinctive difference between people who set up play dates and people who don't, and we don't want you guys to fall in that category later on. Positive interrupter, we talked about that last, like the puppy, 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 kiss, kiss, kissing sound. Which one do you use? Is it working pretty well? Yes. Puppy, puppy? Well, it's a test of your masculinity because a lot of men are like, puppy, puppy, puppy. You really need to be effective. It's got to be puppy, puppy, puppy. Look at all those noise. And that was a sit too. So it's really, really, really helpful to use because like I said, a lot of us give attention for unwanted behaviors and that's where we cause our dog to jump up, steal our shoes, and do all this stuff. And so that positive interrupter is a great way to get your puppy to look at you. Breeders, they call that a breeder call. When your puppy was little, if you had a good breeder, when they brought out food every time they said, puppy, 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 that's why my dog's Quest is 6. He still runs out if he hears that. So it's a great, use that if your puppy is ever not listening to you as well, and run the opposite direction. That's your emergency recall. Whoever you are, you're going to have to call later. And so, do you guys see a good response when you make that sound?
Oh, yeah.
And you as well?
Mostly.
First, so if you're mostly or not getting the great response, go around the house, treat, or puppy, 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 treat, and then just walk around the room, that loading exercise until when you say puppy, puppy, I stop what I'm doing, I'm coming to you because it's good times.
Yeah, if he's got something good, that's what it's like.
That is a little bit hard. It's also hard to compete with their nose, so you're almost always going to lose if they're sniffing, so wait till they stop sniffing if you can. All right, we also, and remember to pair that with your puppy's doing something you don't like. Puppy, 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 looks at you, touch. Dog runs over and touches his nose to your hand. Now you've redirected them, give him a bully bite. Go take them for a walk, do some training, play fetch or whatever it is. Then they forget about whatever it is. If you just say puppy, puppy, touch, they go right back to doing it. Has anybody had a chance to go to Long Dog Fat Cat? A couple people lost their cards. Did you get one? You get some stuff? Awesome. So if you want another card, let us know. We have a whole bunch of them, so we'll give you another card and get you $5 off every time you go in there. They didn't give you the $5 off? Which one did you go to? On Greta? Okay. Well, I'll talk to the manager. His name is Bub. And so it might just be new people that don't know about it. So thanks for letting me know. If anybody else needs one of those cards, let us know. We've got a whole box. We're happy to give you guys some more. All right. We also talked about the soft mouth exercise, which is the best way to teach that is play dates. So did anybody have a chance to practice that one, covering the treat and waiting for your puppy to lick? Good response?
Mostly. He's very chewy right
Sure. And that's, yeah, and we'll talk about that in a sec. How about you guys? Same sort of, same deal?
Yeah. And we changed some treats and she really liked it. So,
Love that.
she's more biting now.
Okay. We'll talk about it in a sec. How about you guys?
I'm pretty good with it, yeah.
So when it comes to treats, real quick, I like to recommend having 3 levels of treats. A cookie treat, a meat treat, which is our tricky trainer, and then the high level, which we call it crack, the meat freeze-dried beef liver. Just like us, if we have something to go up and down, you want to pay the lowest level that you can get away with, but it has to be higher value than your environment. Now, puppies learn more in terms of bite inhibition. 1 hour of play with a puppy that has the pheromone is equivalent to if I come to your house and work with your puppy for 24 hours a day for 7 days straight. That's the ratio. So, and that changes once you hit 5 months. The bite inhibition window closes at 5 months. We have a lot of dogs that come up and grab you by the arm. Grab a guest. That might think, you guys have smaller puppies, so it's not as dangerous. She's going to be a little bit bigger. He's going to be a little bit bigger. So we just don't want them to learn to do that. And so they get that feedback from Playdates. So please set those up. The soft mouth exercise we showed you is a great way for us to do it. But I would, if I was going to put a scale on, I would say that this is worth about 10%, where a Playdate is worth about 100%. So try to set those up, especially until they hit 5 months, because that's really when you want them to do it. When the puppies yelp at each other, that's kind of they're saying, you bit me too hard. Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Chewing, mouthing, biting, and nipping are 4 of the 5 most common behaviors for every puppy because they need the feedback. A lot of us say no, well, they don't know the dexterity. Now, I'll give you a little secret, baby carrots. So start giving your puppy baby carrots or carrot chips. If they don't like them, take a potato peeler and put a couple strands on their food. They fight a type of cancer for dogs, number 1. They're very dense and easy to chew on. They're much cheaper than bully bites. Number 3, when your puppy starts teething, and I hate to say this, but your puppies are going to mouth you a lot more when their adult teeth come in, you can freeze those. Then you take them out and puppy looks at you, drop for him, runs over and chews them. It numbs their gums. There's an article in USA Today not too long ago where it was just talked about like the woman did it. She's like, oh my God, game changer. But you got to start your puppy on those early. So try to get those little baby carrots or chips, or just get a regular carrot and cut it up. I give my dogs those carrots once a week, or once a month, once a week prophylactically. I've got some weird looking poop in the backyard, but I don't really care. And so it's a good little thing. It's a cheaper way to have it. She likes them.
Her some today,
She was all about them.
loved it.
Love it.
My husband's like, oh, carrots all over the place. Like, bite pieces of it.
Yeah.
It's all over.
And some dogs like to chew things and leave them. If they do that with the carrot, that's okay. That's a normal dog behavior. So helping them isolate that to specific things. That way they're not chewing up your Lululemons or whatever it is. All right. We also talked about the critical socialization period. And this is the most important development period that any dog goes through. Have you downloaded the list? How many are you knocking out 10 a day, trying to?
Trying to.
Sometimes it's harder.
Sometimes I really practical.
Sure, and sorting the list, that's a really brilliant thing to do. So sort through the list and go through the ones that are more applicable. I'm trying to get a TV show. So I had Quest around a bunch of TV cameras and TV studios. You probably don't need to do that, so it'd be low on your list. Did you guys get a chance to download it?
Oh, yeah,
You've been on it? Yeah. Love it.
yes.
Perfect. Any problems with it? Any vacuum cleaners are usually hard. If your puppy has a difficulty with anything, ask yourself how I can make it easier. So like the vacuum cleaner, I might just put the vacuum cleaner in the middle of the room, the puppy looks at it, yes, and give a treat. Until they like go and sniffing it, and then I give them a treat. Then I would do this without it being on and give a treat. So you need to do the action, they get a treat after. The reason vacuum cleaners are hard is it makes them nose blind. All your smells from your entire house are erupted in one place. It's confusing for them because they are scent creatures. So then eventually I would try it in the other room. Somebody turn it on and turn it off right away, and then I give my puppy a treat, then bring it a little closer, on, off, on, off, on, off. Eventually, that's how I do the vacuum cleaner. So anything your puppy is having difficulty with, ask yourself, how can I make it smaller, slower, increase the distance? How can I make it easier? But follow it up with a treat, provided your puppy doesn't seem fearful. So that's great. I love that you guys are on that because that makes a huge difference. We tell people training is important, but you can do that in your dog's entire life. Critical socialization period ends at 4 months, and what you do up till 4 months is pretty much what's going to guarantee most of the dog that you're going to have for the rest of your life. All right, let's see hand targeting. I'm going to have you guys demo a little bit so I can check your technique. So you guys all practice that, I'm assuming? It's an easy one, so if not, I'll coach you up a little bit. Remember, we chop with an empty hand. Make sure you say that marker word. There you go. Now for you, try to, and then put the treat on the hand. Don't pull the hand away. Now it's perfect. What's your marker word?
Yes.
Try to say yes when you feel that wet nose. Now both of you guys are kind of going, which isn't very hard. So I always say do on the right side or left side of the nose, and so the dog has to make a deliberate act. Let's see what, real quick. Very good. Now you can do it a little bit further away. Usually by this point we'd like them to do about 15 feet away. Also, I want you to try to think of a separate axe. You went like this. You started kind of, so chop, touch, then treat. Or the marker word, then treat. Perfect. Try not to pull your hand away a little bit, but everything else is great. And try to do it on the side. That's okay. Make sure she's looking.
So I want to be my hand over.
Yep. At nose level. Perfect. Again, you pulled your hand back. So your job is to tell mom, steady hand, freeze your hand, freeze your hand. And so,
Pull my hand.
yeah, you went like this, touched it, and you pulled your arm back. So what you want to do is put that treat right on there. And you could also do this as a twofer. You could be there and you could be there and call her back and forth. It's an alternative recall.
I can have my treat in my hand.
You don't want to have a treat in your hand. So empty hand, nose level, dog touches, yes, and then put the treat on your hand. Let's do one more real quick. You're going to do it perfect, I can tell. Moved your hand a little bit. Your job, that's your job. You got to be freeze hand. Let's see one real quick. All right. Now, I love your enthusiasm, is what you did, and that'll cause your dog a little distraction. So I try to just internalize that enthusiasm. And yep. Now you're kind of holding the bait in front of her. So the other hand, if you can put that on your hip, there you go, and chop with an empty hand. Yes, there you go. And also be careful about dragging your S's. Dogs and a lot of animals make a hissing sound. Skunks, snakes. So when you say yes, it can create a little bit of unwanted. You guys are doing great. Now remember, We showed you how you compare these two together. So your puppy, if you get really good at this, like I was telling them from 15 feet away, if your puppy's getting in your shoe and you go, puppy, 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 it looks at you and go, touch, your dog runs over and touches the nose to your hand. What's your cue for the hand targeting? Touch, target, boop, smash. What do you have a one that you, how about you guys? Do you have a word for it yet? Boop, love it. How about you guys? Boop, target, smash, boop? Okay, so for both of you, you guys haven't assigned one. So I'm going to have you do that real quick. So I'm going to have you grab 5 treats. And I want you to go, you're going to go left to right. And you guys are going to all do this as well. It doesn't hurt. So just go yes, 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 boop, yes. So if you want to say boop, smash, touch, or target, so you do it on the third one. We're trying to get them warmed up. So like, I'm going to touch my nose to your hand no matter what. Then we sneak the word in early. So go ahead and try to do that real quick.
So then, like, the goal would be.
So you can say boop, and your dog runs across the room. It doesn't even have to look at you. I'm looking away. You say boop. Oh, I mean, it's run to, right now, this is the only thing. Your puppy's not looking at you. Yes. There you go. Are you? It looks like you're cutting them up, which is awesome. So I'll have you. Do you understand how to do this one? I don't want to load her up because I want to make sure she can do the other exercises. Right as I chop. Boop. Try to say yes a little bit faster and try not to move your hand to your hand to treat your dog until after your dog touches its nose to your hand. So try to think of each individual step. There you go. All right, let me see. We're also going to, did anybody have any problems with sit, lay down, sit up, and stand? Any issues? Doing it well?
Yeah, he does the sit and lay really well. The sit up and stand is...
Those are a little bit, lay is usually the hardest one. That's awesome. He's giving you good eye contact. Celebrate, celebrate, pet it. There you go. How about you guys? Any problems?
Sit and lay, perfect. Like getting up and then the stand.
A little bit needle work. Okay, how about you guys?
I feel like she did great.
Okay, awesome. And you?
Sit is as far as she goes.
Okay. So remember, every time she lays down, make sure somebody celebrates that. And then for doing that, let me see if I can get you into a down. Sit.
Because she's so low to begin with.
Could be.
I've watched your video where you had her
Yeah.
tongue go under the leg.
You did that work?
It did, but then when I tried to do it without my leg,
Try to find see that table? I mean, it's a little tall, but you find like a bench or a stool that you can, those would be, so your dog has to kind of duck to go under those. So you can use like a bench or stool if you have a chair or something like that at home. That is a good little tip. For the up and the stand, the up is just kind of about a couple inches above your dog's head, and when they jump up or sit up for it, you mark and reward it. And make sure you use a flat hand when you're drawing away for that stand. That is usually, if the dog's nose is here and you draw your hand away, they're like, I want to get that. And they get them to stand to come get it. Does that make sense? If you guys have questions on that one, let any.
Is there like a better way? Because like when we go up, he just jumps.
yes, that's.
So are you using the magic rubber band technique? So the magic rubber band means you keep the treat within an inch of your dog's lips at all times. So if you're trying to go up, you go up. Well, the dog gets out of my reach. So if I go here, the dog starts tracking, I go back and back and back and back. And you might need to use a higher value treat for that one as well. But try to keep it smashed against the dog's nose, and then instead of going up to get it, because that's a lot of times when we do it, we're holding it so high they're jumping up to get it. So try to keep it against the nose and just move your hands slowly. That should help take care of that problem. All right, let me see. Did everyone get the video on feeding? We sent you guys a video on feeding. We don't really cover it in class. It should have been one of the emails that we sent to you. You should have got it this week. Please go back and look for that one. We talk about tips where you can reduce chewing by feeding your dog out of special toys and devices. Also, we recommend your puppy eats 4 times a day until they're about 6 to 9 months old. Otherwise, their stomach stretches to fill all this extra food because there's only once or twice. Then later in life, they have this huge cavity. A lot of those dogs end up overweight. It's also not good for them to go too long without food because they're growing so fast. Kids grow fast. Dogs are light speed compared to kids. So make sure you're feeding them, if you can, 4 times a day. And they do have automated feeders, so if you have a long-term confinement area, you're at work, you can set it up to feed your dog at a certain time. And if you're feeding consistently at the same time, it does help with potty training, because then you know what the poop is going to come after a while. If it's at the same time, the digestive tract is usually pretty consistent. Okay, So watch for that video on feeding. If you can't find it, let us know. We can resend it to you. And then if you guys are, is everybody here signed up for elementary? Nope, nope, nope. Yes. All right. Well, you get a gold star. We give a $100 bill out to everybody who signs up for that one. So you guys are SOL. No, I'm just kidding. But that's our most popular class. We cover most of the lessons people want in that class, and our classes almost always sell out early. A lot of people kind of want to see, do I like the class or not? If you like the classes, I would contact our booking coordinator as soon as you can, because we have a lot of people that get frustrated they have to wait an extra month because that class is full. And about half of our classes that start next month, or in 2 weeks actually, are full. So if you want to continue, we'd love to have you continue with the same pups because that does help them. All right, let me see. We're going to go over a body handling exercise. This is really important for your vet as well as other people. So when we're doing this, what we're going to do is, let me see. Basically, we're going to touch the same spots. We're going to do it in a couple different ways. So the things we're going to touch, we're going to lift up this ear. We're going to lift up this ear. We're going to lift up this lip. We're going to lift up this lip. We're going to lift up this paw, this paw. We're going to lift up the tail gently. And then we're going to do something called tenting. I think I'm older than all of you, but they used to say something called pinch and inch. This is tenting. So when you do this, this is what your vet is going to do before they inject your puppy, right on top of their spine, right by the tail. So on the back, you want to just, and it's not hurting pinch. It's just you gather a little skin, hold it for a second, and then you're going to release the treat. So to start this off, we're going to do this in two different ways. We're going to start off with the training wheels version, and then we're going to do the real version. The training wheel version is we're going to hold a treat here, then lift up the lip, then we're going to release the treat. Then we're going to take a new treat, lift and lips first, hold the treat first, then lift up the other ear. Like you're examining the ear. Doesn't have to be long, just lift it up and then release the treat. Then lift up this lip. It's kind of hard when you're lifting the lips, but just gentle, and then release. But you're holding the treat here and lifting on this side and release the treat, and then do the other side. Hold up this paw, release the treat, and then again the tail, and then do the tenting. So I'm going to have you guys all pull out about 10 or 12 treats, and I'll go around and look for that. So the important thing is make sure that you give the treat, or hold the treat at their lips first. Don't release it. There you go. And then release the treat. Now, if your dog is turning away from you, it might be a cutoff signal. Probably is a cutoff signal. So try to be a little bit less. Especially yours, the most pronounced in the room. This giant hand over my face, where we're like, my hand is actually petite, but compared to your dog. So try to keep it a little bit, maybe use your fingertips a little bit if your puppy is moving away. That's exactly what we're looking for. Good job. And don't worry about the sit for this one. Oh, you're doing the paw? That one is a little bit easier. Yeah. It's like, but I'm so cute. There you go.
Oh, that one might hurt, 'cause he did just have shots.
Okay. Well, it shouldn't hurt too much. So usually most vets are pretty good. Any problems? There you go. Yeah. Just one touch though. So one side, release the treat. Hold another one, release the treat for the other side. So there's one treat per touch. And try to hold the treat a little bit lower. There you go. There you go. If your puppy's jumping up a lot and you're holding a treat, you might be the cause of the jumping. Right there. Yeah, you're already treated out. Cheese also works. Some people get like string cheese and chop it in little tiny bits. Might also be something you want to try. Keep it like really cold because it starts congealing together. All right, so this is, like I said, the training wheels version of it. Now, if your puppy was giving you cutoff signals, which means they're resisting, they're pulling their paw away, they're backing away, they're turning their head away, then you would continue doing it this way. But if your puppy didn't offer you these cutoff signals, we're doing the exact same thing we just did. The only difference is we're going to change the order. So now we're going to flip up the ear, then we're going to give them a treat without holding at their lips. Hold up the next treat, ear, then give them another treat. So you're not holding the treat in front of their lips unless they were giving you cutoff signals. Then you just continue doing it, holding it here. And at home, you probably will get to the point where you could flip it. But let's see you guys try to, as long as your dog's wasn't giving you cutoff signals. There you go. And if your puppy's turned away from you, do the tenting. Lift up the tail. Take advantage of whatever end of your puppy they're offering you. So maybe scratch under the chin with one hand, and then lift up the ear with the other one. With the other hand. Yeah, no, that's okay. And that moving away is a little bit of, what are you doing there? So that's okay. You might go back to the training wheels, but try to go when you're home. This is just kind of a hard environment to do it. I'm vulnerable. There's other puppies there. That's good. That's usually one of the harder ones. Now, groomers are the most bit out of the dog industry. Vets are number 2. If you think about it, when we go to the doctor, they're kind of touching some private areas for us. We usually don't feel very good when we go there. And then they're just grabbing and manipulating us. Now, doctors are like, this is going to feel cool, or you're going to feel whatever it is. Dogs don't get those warnings. So what I'd like you guys to do next time you go to your vet, have some treats. Your dog lifts up the ear, give your puppy a treat afterwards. I doubt your vet will ask, but if your vet asks, just say, this is a lesson we learned in puppy class to help you not get bit. And your vet should be like, thank you. We like you taking that class. So this is something also I would recommend you have your family members and friends do, especially friends and strangers that don't know your puppy. Now, you guys have an intimacy with your dog, so you should do it first. But after a while, your puppy's like, humans are weirdos. They like look in my ear and then they give me a treat. Well, I like the treats, and that's all we really care about. So this is a great way to set your puppy up for success so they don't bite the groomer or the vet or your friends who come over to pet them. People do a lot of inappropriate things to dogs they don't know that they shouldn't be doing. And so this little exercise seems really simple, but it has a profound impact on many dogs. So especially if you have small dogs, a lot of people with small dogs don't realize that most of the top 10 biters are small breed dogs. So most people have a small breed dog, you're like, oh, you guys are cute. You're mirroring. I have a little puppy. I mean, look how small, Zoe is so small, she can't, little dogs can bite you pretty good. Yes, she'll attest. All right, so basically practice that one at home and try to get to the point where you can ditch all those spots without having to hold the treat. That's your goal. And there's no marker word for this. This is a desensitization exercise, and there's no words for it. It's just helping your puppy be more comfortable with this. Anybody have any questions? All right, next one we're going to go over is, well, we were going to go over the Leave It cue, but I'm sure your puppies don't need that, so we'll go over, I'm just kidding. We're going to go over the Leave It. All right, let's do this. Can I borrow you, buddy? Well, hold him there for a sec. I just think you might be distracted when you see this handsome young man over here, so. All right.
Last week was hard for him because he knew what happened.
Come on, buddy. All right. Any food allergies for Kirk? All right. And your marker word is yes or good?
Yes.
Okay. So this is the first one we're going to do is the training wheels version. Now, when I do this, and if your puppy is super high energy, just kind of wait them out a little bit. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to have 2 treats. The training wheel version for this as well. So yeah, you're going straight to the source, but they're right here. Here's one. So I'm going to hold in a loose fist, and all I'm doing is waiting for Kirk to give up. I'm not going to let him have it, but he can smell it. Yes. And then I treat him from my other hand. He never gets the one in the hand that you're offering. And this is the training rules. You shouldn't have to do this one very often. Kirk. So I have it ready to go. And this is normal. Using your paws or your fingers, or your teeth, try not to pull it away. He's determined.
He's super food motivated.
Yes. So as soon as they stop, you say yes and put the other treat in their mouth. So this is the training world version. I'm going to have you guys do this one for a minute, and then I'll show you guys the other real world version where we flip it a little bit. Kirk, here, buddy. There you go.
Thank you.
All right. Rachel, can I ask a favor? Can you find some tiny little pieces for, just kind of put them right there. Here's a little one. I should have grabbed you a big one too. So Rachel's looking for petite ones. These are really high value. So this would be the one that you would let him sniff, and the other one is the one that you'd let him have, and she'll bring you some treats in a sec. Don't show the other hand. Keep the other hand. There you go. And I like to hold between the thumb and fingertips, so right there. But no, never let him have the one in your hand. Oh, okay. So as soon as Emmy stops, then yes, and treat from your left hand. And she is very good and persistent. Yes. Perfect. I'd probably have you hold it in a loose fish because that might be confusing as the exercise we did before, the soft mouth. A little bit lower. And turn your knuckles up towards there you go. A little bit looser. Yeah, you want to, there we go. There we go. Are you using tricky trainers?
Oh, I think I am.
You're not?
I don't, they're peanut butter.
They don't look like, here, try this in your lower hand. Stronger smell. See if you get it. Oh, yep, there you go. Right there, yes, perfect. He's determined. Good job. All right, so this is the training wheels version. I'm going to show you guys the next step in a sec, but if you have puppy difficulty with it, go back to this one. There's never anything wrong with going back to the easier version. All right, Kurt. Come here, buddy. All right. Okay. Really nice leash, probably way too heavy for him.
Okay.
I like the reflection and it's a cool snake pattern and all that, but yeah, he's just such a little guy. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop it on the ground, because normally when we say leave it, it's not stuff that I have in my hand. So what I'm going to do, and you're a little guy. Let's see if I can get you to sit. Yes, there we go. So I'm going to drop it, and I'm going to immediately put my hand on top of it. So if you watch, and you want to drop it, you want them to see it. Same principle, yes. As soon as they give up that hand, you treat them. You say yes and treat them from your other hand. Try to make that yes instantaneously. The instant they disengage, and like Emmy was giving you a little bit of like a faux disengage, reward that as soon as you get that. So I'll have you guys practice this one a little bit. Yes, I'm going to give you this treat over here with your mommy. There you go. Did that work? Were those treats working? Yeah. Yes. Very good. Good job. Outstanding. Yeah, that's good. And if the dog doesn't go for it at all, that's eventually where you're going to be careful. Just didn't want you to get startled. There's a ghost in here. Good. I love how you're ready to do it. And to make sure you say yes before you move your hand.
Oh, I gave her that one?
No, before you move your right hand.
Yes.
There you go. Perfect. Now, Emily, you're kind of ready for the next stage. So when you drop it next time, cage it. Put your hand on top of it. And if he goes for it, you can collapse down, but you're going to give a little bit more access. There, outstanding. There you go. You need some more tricky trainers? Here, you can tear these into half.
I was going to say,
They're on our supply space. There's chicken liver.
can you get it in a long enough?
I don't know if they carry them or not. I usually just get a lot of that stuff on Amazon because I find it's a little bit cheaper. I'm not sure if I would be surprised if they don't. It's the official treat of the American Kennel Club. It's a very popular treat, but not every place carries it. Tricky trainers. And it's on our supplies page, linked to Amazon. So if you can't find it there, just go to Amazon. Okay, so Emily's dog Kirk is already kind of progressing the next step. The next step, as you'll see in the video, is when we drop it, we cage our hand over it instead of collapsing our hand. But if we cage our puppy, try to get under it, we're giving a little bit more access to see how they do. Have they picked up this concept or not? If they have, then we go to the cage. And the cage is usually what I do when the puppy's like, Kirk is like not even, she's dropping it, like not even going for it. So she's doing a cage. The next stage would be to drop it and hover over it. And if this is the dog, and the dog goes for it, my hand goes at the same time as the dog. So I'm getting closer to it to protect it. The dog should never, ever, ever get the treat that's on the ground. So we're going to send you a video on this. Now what I did with Quest is I actually had one of my apprentices go and drop chicken pieces down the aisle at Lowe's. And then we walked down and Quest's like, oh, I'm going to get some chicken, I'm going to get some chicken. And I will explain when to do the cue in a second. I would say, leave it. He looked up, walk over the chicken to get the treat that's coming down, and then look at him, oh, I missed some chicken, but I got a treat. And the analogy, a story I use for this is if you're walking down the street, let's say you're walking down the street, you find see a $100 bill on the street. You're walking with your mom said, oh, you can't have that, it has COVID on it. How does it make you feel? I'm losing out on some pretty awesome stuff. So you walk a little further and you find another $100 bill. And your mom said, oh, don't take that, that has COVID on it too. Take this $100 bill instead. You probably feel a lot better about that because you're not missing out. This is how we interpret it. We ask dogs to ignore the most delicious stuff ever. There's some amazing vomit. It's fresh, and you're not going to let me have it? What is wrong with you people? Humans. But that's the trait, is we're giving our puppy, and a lot of puppies just get pulled away from stuff so often. They're just like, I'm just going to ask for forgiveness, not permission. I'll lick the vomit up, and then I'll come and lick your face. We probably don't like that either. So the idea for this concept is a trade. I'm asking you to give something up, and I'm going to give you a guaranteed reward. Now, when I get to the point where I drop it and the puppy is looking up at me, that's usually when I introduce the cue. And the way I would do it, I would say, leave it, drop it. The dog looks up, yes, and give him a treat. So we cover stuff really fast in class. Sometimes people are like, I can't get to the cue. This is probably not till the 5th to 10th time that you're doing it before you're actually incorporating a cue. But this is one you're going to use a lot. So eventually, let's say that sticker right there is the trash can. And I'm Emmy. I'm like, leave it. Oh, come over here and get a treat from you. So you can interrupt them from counter surfing, grabbing your sneaker, actually grabbing it. Now, once they have possession of it, that's a drop. That's a different cue. But this one, like I said, you will use a lot. Does anybody have any questions on the drop it? Or the leave it, excuse me.
Have your hand down over it and they're scratching at it.
Just keep your hand there.
Okay.
Yep. If your puppy is scratching your hands, you can take a Dremel and kind of round, or like a file, and round it so you won't have the scratch marks.
And you can surround it with that?
What's that?
You can just round their nails with
Yeah,
that?
with a Dremel, yeah. I don't do it. I take Quest out dog skiing. He pulls me and I'm on rollerblades. I did it this morning. People are like, you're crazy. But he goes, I'm 50. I can't run with a Dalmatian. But he runs 4 or 5 miles, the asphalt essentially does his nails. I haven't ever had to trim his nails since he was a puppy. All right, do you guys all bring some food today? Everybody bring a little kibble? If not, you can use some treats for this one. So we're going to go over an exercise. Now, before we go over this, it's important to note that in the wild, dogs spend up to 90% of their time looking for food. It is by far the most important activity for dogs. So basically, this is a lot of us, when our puppies are eating, we go over and we pet them on top of the head. We scratch them. The kids are playing nearby. Some people are like, I'm going to stick my hand in there and make sure the dog knows not to do that. That's a good way to get bit. So when dogs, because they spend 90% of the time in the wild looking for food, it's incredibly important. We call it a primary reinforcer because it's something they have to have. So when your dog is eating, don't pet them. Rachel used to work at the Humane Society. The people who feed the dogs, they tell them, put the food down, do not pet the dog. We think, I'm giving you food and I'm going to give you love. No, now you're messing with me doing a really important thing. That's a great way to get bit. So can we all make an agreement that when our puppy is eating, unless we've conditioned them not to, we're not going to pet them, talk to them, come near them, have the kids play? No messing with the dog, right? Oh, he's like, yeah, whatever, man. Okay, so now that we've all agreed not to mess with our puppies when they eat, let's show you how you can mess with your puppy when it eats. So basically what we're going to do is I'm going to have you, there's a concept, mine. I'm holding this is mine. Can you hold on to this for me, Emily? Ours, hers. So we're going to use the concept of ours. Have you ever heard the expression, don't bite the hand that feeds you? That's where this comes from. This is an exercise to prevent resource guarding. So what we're going to do is you're going to hold at your dog's nose level or slightly lower a small handful of treats or kibble, like 5 or 6 pieces. And when your puppy, and don't do it yet, when your puppy is doing it, what I want you to do, and please do just the step that I'm asking for. Everybody starts petting. That's all right. It happens all the time. So basically what we're going to do is the closer we get to our dog's mouth, the more they're going to be disagreeable. And a growl is your dog's way of saying, I am uncomfortable. I don't like what you're doing. I disagree. Don't ever punish your dog for that. Increase the distance between them, whatever it is. Otherwise, you'll train your dog not to growl. That's a really dangerous thing. Rachel deals with this a lot. There's something called predatory aggression, or I'm going to punish every time I growl. So I'm not going to growl anymore. I just go straight to a bite. We like the growl. So what we're going to do is we're going to hold our hand out with the food, and we like to have our dog perpendicular in front of us. And when the puppy is, let's say the head is here and the tail's here, when I open my hand, they start eating the food, I'm going to take one finger only and touch the hip. The puppy continues to eat, doesn't seem to be bothered. I touch with 2 fingers, and I'm not pushing the dog, just lightly touching. Then I work up 3 fingers, 4 fingers, 5 fingers. If you get to 5 fingers, usually at that point they're done. Reload with a little bit more food. And if they get to 5 fingers, then you can pet, but this is only on the hip. We're going to radiate. It's hard for me to pantomime, but we're going to radiate from the underside to the spine, and we're going to go up towards the head, but we're going to go up and down first. And anytime your puppy stops eating or growls, it's saying you're moving too fast. Stop, go easier. So if you're at 4 fingers, your puppy growled, go back to 3 fingers. If you're petting up here, go back to petting here. Does that make sense? It's pretty easy. So I'm going to have you guys, and it'd be helpful if you can, if you have the knees for it, to kneel down or sit down. Make sure it's your puppy's nose level or slightly lower, and that your puppy's perpendicular to you is a little bit easier, so it's like kind of a T shape. I would probably even make like 2 or 3 pieces in there and try to kind of stick them between your fingertips because that's really, really high value, powerful stuff. There you go. Good job of picking them up. A lot of people just let them eat off the ground. There you go. And now pet, radiate from the spine to the belly. There you go. There you go. Use your fingertips. There you go. And that moving away, that's a cutoff signal.
Oh.
So that means just go back to maybe just to touching with fingers. There you go. And fingertips first. 1 finger, then 2. See how you have a difference when you go to fingers? We went to all 5. That was too much. You're able to radiate from the belly to the spine? Okay. Now I'm seeing some dogs that have some cutoff signals. I also saw a couple of people grabbing their dogs and positioning them. Use the hand targeting for that. The dog eventually will turn around and bite you, or can, and we don't want them to do that. Again, little dogs can still have a big bite. So eventually you're going to work your way all the way up, radiating from the belly to the spine, up and down, and eventually you're going to get where you can pet your puppy under its chin while it's eating out of your hand and it doesn't growl or grumble and it continues to eat. Once you can achieve that, you're going to repeat the whole exercise, but this time you're going to do it out of a bowl. Now, when we're feeding out of our hand, it's ours. We're feeding out of a bowl, it's kind of theirs. So don't be afraid, if your puppy has difficulty with that one, don't be afraid to kind of intersperse, go from hand feeding, then put a cup in the bowl and do the fingertips. Watch for those cutoff signals. If you do this properly, your dog is comfortable, people walk around, you're not a threat, you're not taking my food. That's why sticking your hand in there and saying, I'm going to show you, dog, that it's my food, that's a good way to get bit because they really need that food. They don't need to hunt because we've domesticated them. But a lot of dogs develop a resource guarding problem. Actually, Rachel doesn't know, but my neighbor reached out. She has a puppy that's a mature puppy, and they've been taking away their food. Now the dog's resource guarding the food and the husband and the wife from each other. I just had a client in California. It's funny. I was having them kiss each other as part of a training exercise because the dog will try to bite them if they hug, touch, or embrace. So I went through a whole thing for this. But it's almost like an instinct. When dogs are resource guarding, they're not rationalizing, they're not thinking, and they will bite you. They will bite you. So this is why we don't want to pull things away from our dogs. We want to teach them to drop or trade things. If your puppy has something in its mouth, show them you have a treat and drop it right there in front of them. And they drop it and go for it. Don't pick it up. Then throw a couple more treats so the dog puppy takes a couple steps to go get it. Then pick the object up. And if I'm taking it away, I would have a bully bite or a collagen stick or something like that and put that down on the ground. And that way the dog, the shoe turned into a collagen stick. This is awesome. And then they're chewing something appropriately. So that's one of the reasons why we recommend you go to Long Dog Fat Cat and pick up one of those, a bag of bully bites. So you always have 4 or 5 of them at home. You can bring them to puppy class if you need to, but your puppy steals your underwear, shoes, socks, remote control, any of that stuff that's coming. Yeah, I see how you looking at me. But that way you can trade those things away. All right, does anybody have any questions on the handling while feeding? All right. So we're going to go over one last little exercise. I'm going to kind of explain this one to you. Well, actually, I'll show you real quick with Kirk again. So you're using puppy, puppy, puppy. So most dogs learn to pull on the leash because what do they do when we pull? When they pull, we pull back. Dogs are programmed to pull back. So every time you pull your dog on a leash or push your dog, it's like I said, I saw somebody grab their dog for this. They're going to resist you. They don't have a choice in the matter. So now a cue is something that happens that tells the dog to do something. And so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to pair the pause interrupter sound with the pulling. And the pause interrupter sound should get him to look at me. So let's say we're walking down the street. Puppy, puppy, puppy. Puppy, puppy, puppy. Puppy, puppy, puppy. See, I'm holding it. He's coming back to me. I'm not going to him. So there is a very limited window for you to use this exercise and have it be profoundly impactful. If you do this right, you should be saying puppy, puppy the instant the leash gets tense. Now, a cue is sit. For my dogs, if I go like this means lay down. This means I want you to come in a heel. This means I want you to sit. These are verbal or cues. Feeling pressure on the leash can be a cue to turn around and come back to you if you do this exercise. But there's a very limited window. And loose leash walking is something everybody wants, and everybody sets their dog up to fail because we try to teach it on a walk. It's like learning to drive on the interstate. You're guaranteed to get in an accident. So what I'd like you to do is if you live in a house, let's say that this is my neighbor's driveway, and the box there is my driveway. I'm going to walk on the sidewalk back and forth. And same territory. So the dog doesn't have really, I've already sniffed everything. Let's go walk somewhere else. No, I don't want you to sniff. I want you to pay attention. So when you pull, or puppy, looks at you, hold your treat down. When the puppy arrives, say your marker word, release the treat, then keep on walking. And if you do this back after a while, your dog is like, they're like looking at you. But if you do it with good timing, when they feel that pressure, instead of pulling, they're going to turn around and come back to you. This is why it's important you should have treats with you on walks and reward your dog for check-ins. Now, I understand this weather is not really conducive to doing it outside. If you don't do it outside, do it in your hallway. Do it somewhere in your home. Walk over the same area back and forth. And if your dog doesn't pull, what's your name? Have Hattie at the end of the hall going, ah, freaking out. And Emmy's like, I want to go play with Hattie. So you simulate something. If that's too much, okay, so let's bring it down a notch or two. And then, so you set your dog up for success. Don't do this on an actual walk. Just do this in your house first. Then go to your sidewalk and back and forth. And eventually you get to the point where you're doing a walk. And every time you do a puppy pull, or puppy, and hold out that treat. All right. Does anybody have any questions on that one? All right. That's a pretty easy one. But there, like I said, is a very limited window. Most people don't do that and have to have a dog that pulls later on in life. So please work on that one. That's really, really important. All right. Does anybody have any questions on that or anything else we went over today? Well, then I believe I should let you guys go out for potty break and super happy fun time. Does anybody need a poop bag? Rachel rents them out for $50 an hour, but she does not want you to return them. If you ever need one, let us know. We always have some here. If you could police up the area around you, make sure there's no treats on the floor. Pick up your dog bed, put it up on the kennel behind you, and any stuff that you have so puppies don't grab it. We'll wipe your puppy's paws when they come back in. We'll have you go back to the original spot. Anybody here wearing a harness? Anyone's puppy wearing a harness. If you're wearing a harness, that's a personal business for you. So if your puppy's not wearing a harness, we're good. All right, so I'll let you go ahead and go first.
Thank you.
All right. You guys ready? Yes. You got a brown poop bag. That's like a little on the nose.
We did have a
Story with giving the dog food.
Uh-huh.
Whenever my son's girlfriend's over and she's eating dinner, he'll go over to her chair where they sit. He'll paw at her.
Does he give her food?
But
She give her
then he
food?
looks at me like, do I get my food? Because I always yell at him, get over here and I'm getting a treat.
Well, that's attention, yeah. And so now